Well, welcome back to Mr. Obsolete's Vintage Homesteading. Today we're on tree patrol. We've had a really bad storm. Within the last week we've had 17 inches of snow, 8 to 9 inches of rain, and a lot of wind. So these trees here, you can see in the back, one's broke out, and then these here are leaning out towards the road. So those are all going to be coming out here shortly. And then we'll come back down here a little ways. Okay, this tree here blew down and snapped off right back here. So we got to cut that off and pull it out with a tractor and cut it up. You can't see it, but indirectly behind it, there's another tree about 12 inches in diameter. And it fell down and it went back and just barely clipped the back corner of my shop. If it would have hit the shop, it would have done some severe damage, but just the top branches rubbed against it. So I'm Mr. Lucky. I'll show you some more here in a sec. Well, here's some more dead trees that are damaged and broke off. All this stuff has got to come out. If you look in the very back by the shop, you can actually see the top of that tree laying down there where, like I say, it just grazed the shop. So we're going to be really busy doing a lot of vintage chainsaw work. Well, we got a little bit more down the road here, so right back. Okay, if you're looking behind me, you can see a bunch of them that are dead, leaning over. Some are way down and some are partially down, and this one right here is leaning out almost into the road. It's got to come out. I thought it was dead from last winter, but it had a little teeny bit of foliage this summer, but it's leaning over another 3 or 4 feet just from this last storm. So this all has to come out, and some of the dead trees broken off and laying down and behind it. And then we got one more thing to show you. Okay, well, with this tree we got branches coming out this way over the road, and we got one big main branch over here starting to lean out too, so eventually that whole tree will have to come out. Then along here we have a bunch of branches that need to be removed. There again are encroaching on the road slowly but surely. So anyway, get the vintage chainsaws out and eat them up. Well, we decided to come out and do a little cutting today because the weather is still great, but won't be for long. Big rainstorms coming in. So this is a big fir tree I showed where the branches are starting to come out over the top of here and out towards the road. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to get in here and cut off all the dead branches out on the bottom get it ready, and then another video I'll come out and start taking the bigger branches off because they'll need a ladder to get up there to cut them. So anyway, I'll get the saw warmed up and be right back. go. We'll be back in a bit. Well, I just wanted to talk briefly about my little saw I'm using to cut those branches out. I've done a video on this saw before, but just wanted to kind of go over it again. It's a 1979 Partner, which is a Swedish saw, an S55 55cc, and it's just ideal for the type of work I'm doing. The MCCulloch I usually use in most of my cutting is bigger and heavier than this, and so this is a lot easier to move around in the branches. Now, I only have 2 of these in my collection. This one I got off Craigslist. Paid 25 bucks for it. The guy that had it couldn't get anybody to work on it because his partner had been out of business for years and years, and he never mastered the art of sharpening chains. So when I got it, there was like 5 or 6 extra chains. I forget which now, but anyway, this one they sold in 2 versions. The decal's pretty well gone here, but it says Partner and a Semi-Pro, and they sold a Pro version of it, and the difference was that it had a 3 clutch shoes in the clutch instead of 2 like this one, and it had a chain brake on it, which this does not and has no provision for it. Had a bigger spike, and it's just, you know, it's just a little bitty spike there. The other thing that's interesting is on the exhaust here, you can turn this plate to blow the exhaust in different directions. It's kind of a neat feature. The thing I find with partners, working on them and fiddling with them and stuff, they really were an advanced saw for their time. It's a 1979, I think I said, but anyway, compared to the other Swedish saws of the time, it really was a better saw, and it's given me really good service. It's got a 20-inch bar on it. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about it again. I'd recommend going back and looking at my first video on this saw. I go over it pretty extensively, and of course I've got my nice original Partner hard hat here. So anyway, after we start working on those trees some more, we'll be back with some more video in a week or 2. So stick around for the rest of the video. Well, we've got another distressed tree to take down. Get this leaner back here. Put a face cut on it already, but you can see that the branches are dead 2/3 of the way up. There's only foliage on the outside, and there's no top in the tree. It's been tilting over and more, and these last storms we've had have been helping it along. So I get over and get the saw warmed up, and we'll drop it. So I'll be right back. Well, I wanted to talk briefly about the tree and how I cut it down and whatnot. So I cut it 3 feet off the ground because if I cut it down to the bottom, I don't have very good luck of steering it. And you come over and look here on the top, you can see that I cut it like this, wider here than here, because I wanted to steer the tree. And so you can see it's just about perfect. One thing I was having to contend with was the wind pushing against it too, so that was another reason I needed to steer it. And it's right at 13 inches across. It's about 56 feet long. And the thing that was unusual, I cleared off some of the bark and stuff, and when I first started getting in the cut just right here, all of a sudden a bunch of sparks shot out and then the saw went dull. So in the bark somewhere was a piece of metal, either an old nail or a piece of fence or something, but I was able to finish the cut and drop it. So anyway, here's another little toy that we've got. Little plum. We'll talk about this in future videos, so keep watching. So now we're going to go out and do some more woodwork. So remember, vintage chainsaws are the best. We'll see you on the next video.